Hello, this is Rosalind from Jedi.Tax NYC. Today's presentation is how to choose a tax preparer. The following presentation is provided as general information only. For specific advice on a return or tax advice, you must be a client of Jedi.Tax. You can contact me at Rosalind@Jedi.Tax via email. Our Facebook page is Jedi.Tax NYC, and I am also on Instagram. So it's that time. It's almost that time. It's almost the end of the year. So we have to start thinking about who's going to do our taxes come January. W-2s tend to go out at the end of December through the end of January. Everyone should be receiving a W-2 or a 1099 no later than February of 2022. So, you need to change and prepare, or it might be your first time, first W-2, first job, and you need a person to help you with your taxes. Or maybe you had a life change. Maybe you have a business, your own business now, and you need someone to help you get your business taxes filed. So, where do you start? Well, let's start right here. So, tax preparers, there are different levels of tax preparation, and there are different qualifications. First, we have the enrolled agent. An enrolled agent is someone who has had some experience as a preparer. They have reached out to the IRS and they have completed a certain number, 72 hours of continuing education. There is an exam that has to be taken. I think the exam is 3 hours or more. They have to pass that exam. They have to have continuing education. This is above and beyond your standard tax preparation um, business. The enrolled agents may represent clients under audit because of the extended training, and they also are allowed to file appeals on the client's behalf if there's an issue. Usually, you would look for an enrolled agent if you've had a return that had issues, or if there are extenuating circumstances regarding your returns. You might need an enrolled agent to represent you. Then we have the standard tax preparer, like myself. We are registered with the IRS. We have a number called a PTIN number that appears on any tax returns that we file. And then there are certain states where a standard preparer is required to register, take a course, take continuing education, and also register. There's a separate registration fee. And then we received a state PTIN number. And there are certain states that do require, and they are California, Connecticut, Illinois, Maryland, Nevada, New York, and Oregon. Those states, preparers are required to register with the state and take whatever courses are required and receive a certification. And it's, at least in New York, it's yearly. You have to renew every year. Then we have certified public accountant. Certified public accountants have a college degree. They are licensed. They do an apprenticeship with an accounting firm. I think it's before they're licensed. Some CPAs do not prepare returns. Some CPAs only assist their clients with not just bookkeeping, but financial advice. Some CPAs do taxes for their clients, especially if it's a business. They do work on business taxes with their clients, as well as whatever financial advice they provide. Certified public accountants, you basically are found by word of mouth. Somebody recommends somebody to a friend and all that good stuff. You might want a public accountant depending on your circumstances, or if you have a business of a certain size, you might be more comfortable using a CPA to do your taxes. Then we have Local volunteers, for folks who are under a certain income level. It depends on the state, but I know in New York, if you have less than 60,000 a year, or if you're a senior citizen on a fixed income, or someone that's way below the poverty line, or just above enough to file, but not above 60,000 a year, you can either file yourself, and each states have their own link for consumers, and they can guide you through. Or sometimes local libraries they used to have volunteers come in and help people do file their returns at the local library. Or social services agencies would have folks come in and help people do their returns. So I would suggest that you check with your local social services agency, or check with your local library to see if they're going to offer the service. I know with COVID, it's going to be hard to have a lot of stuff in person, but it doesn't hurt. I mean, in all honesty, if your income is under a certain level, you probably should not be paying someone to do your taxes. You should be able to do what used to be called a 1040EZ, which meant you only had employment, no self employment income, and very few dependents. And it's a very, very basic form. So, a local volunteer might be the best way to go in that situation. And then we come to the fun part. We come to the fun part. Um, that is fees and record keeping and all that good stuff. So, there are certain things. There are items that are required for every preparer, and it could, well, it doesn't really vary per state. There's just certain things that have to be done, and the first thing is a fee list. You Preparers must have a fee list for services. And a customer should be a client should be able to know the fees before they give you the opportunity to file their return. So you have to have a fee list either on your website so that people can see it before they contact you, or if they do contact you, discuss the fees before doing the return. And I know in New York State, you're supposed to have it posted somewhere, or an estimate must be given to the client before the work begins. Um, Depending on the depending on the circumstances, what needs to be filed, whether it's a business return or an individual return. But you have to present the fees to the client beforehand. A preparer may not charge a separate fee for electronic filing. Why? Because every tax prep software has the option for electronic filing. It is built in, therefore, the electronic filing fees may not be separated from your general fee for doing a return. Now, if your preparer has to send documents by mail, and they have to send stuff through the post office on your behalf, they are allowed to charge postage, and they're allowed to charge, if they have to make copies, a per page fee. So that you may be charged separately for, but not for filing your return electronically. That's not a separate fee. Any client refunds must be sent by mail to the client. So the IRS or the state will send a check to the client, or it will be direct deposited into the client's bank account, whether it's checking or savings. And that's something the client decides at the time that they're doing the return. The client will instruct how they want it done. Usually, most people want it direct deposited. If refunds are sent for whatever reason, if it's sent to the preparer, that's a problem. That's a red flag. Refund should never go to a tax preparer. And most important, the preparer and the client must sign the return, whether they indicated electronic signature on the return before it's submitted. That has to be done. They have to have both signatures. If they don't have both signatures, that's not good. That's a red flag. Also, a tax preparer should either email or present the client with a copy of their return so they can review it before it's submitted. So in case there's any information that needs to be added, or if something's misspelled, or there's an address issue, the client should be allowed to see the return, acknowledge it, and then the preparer sends the return to the IRS. So as far as record keeping, the preparer can use only the records that the client provides. Preparers are not allowed to estimate income, estimate expenses. Everything must be based on what the client provides. And also, the preparer must be available for questions after the return is filed. So if it's April 30th and there's a question, you have a question about your return, you should be able to reach your preparer either by email or phone and discuss your concerns. If for some reason the preparer has just disappeared or you can't reach them or for whatever reason, then you can file a complaint, and that's the next thing. If you need to file a complaint regarding your tax preparer, if there's an issue of returns never being filed and you paid for the service, or if the return was filed and the refund didn't go to you but went to the preparer for whatever reason, that shouldn't happen, and you need to file a complaint, then for federal returns, you go to irs.gov and click on consumer, and you'll be directed from there. If your state has state income tax and you need to file a return and there's a problem, you go to your state's tax department and go to consumer or individual and or business and file a complaint. They will direct you how to file a complaint from there. Hopefully that never happens, but if you need to, that's what you do. And then also, you need to provide as much information about the preparer as possible: name, address, company name, phone number, the date you saw the preparer, the date they gave you that your return would be filed, um, every date that you contacted them, whether it was email or phone. Keep record of it, and then if you do need to file a complaint, you can provide that information as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I hope this was helpful. If you have any suggestions, or if there are any topics that you would like me to prepare a presentation on, then feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to look into it. Our corporate website is Jedi.Tax. We also have, starting soon, we will have a weekly discussion Facebook via StreamYard. And if you have questions, you can reach out to us as well. Hope everyone has a wonderful day, and take care.